What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition. Welcome back, man, to the Ravi and Ray podcast, dude. We are back. It feels good to be back, dude. It feels great to be back. It feels like it's
We're
like something
back.
missing.
I know, man. We've been itching to get back for so long, and here we are, man. We are finally
We are.
back, man. Well,
Damn,
let's get
dude.
it
It's
started off.
crazy.
It is crazy, man. It's been too long, and we are back Monday, Friday. We will be recording and giving our reactions to all the football. We'll be giving reactions to some of UFC. And already, what perfect timing, man! What perfect timing! We are about what 4 weeks away from NFL playoff football.
Yeah, dude. We're about 4 weeks away. It's crazy, man. Like, I feel like Christmas is right around the corner. It's like, what happened? Like, what happened this year? It's gone. This year
It's
is done. It's
it's crazy.
over.
By 23 and hello 2024. And I know
You
you
know
got a
what's gonna
huge
suck?
yeah
You know what's gonna suck ass, dude? It's getting on that damn freeway on 80, and you know, like, you're gonna go to, like, the Galleria Mall?
yeah.
Dude, that traffic, oh, it's gonna be so bad, dude,
Have you been
and
to
I
the
gotta go
Galleria
that way a
yet?
lot. Bro, I haven't. Is it bad?
It's
It's
so
nuts?
bad already. It's so
You been
nuts
there?
already. Yeah, I drove by there just the other day in like the parking lot, like it was
Yeah.
just you can just tell off the freeway, the parking lot, it was just swamped of people in there.
Wow, it's just gonna get worse.
I
It's
know.
just gonna get worse, man. I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm excited about the holidays, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you're excited about some Baltimore Ravens football because I got to ask you, Raymond, who's the team to beat in the AFC?
Dude, you know what, man? I gotta be honest with you, I think, I know it's been a while since we had the podcast. I know it's been, but I will admit, dude, I'm I'm really gonna be as non-biased as I can be. I'm gonna go with
Mhm.
the Miami Dolphins here. I'm gonna go
Oh,
with the Dolphins. And the reason why I say the Dolphins is because I think offensively, dude, they're just really good. From a defensive standpoint, I think they're only going to get better. They got a lot of players out, as I kind of seen before the game. A ton of their starters are out,
yeah.
and it seems like a lot of their players right now are getting hurt as we speak. But it's kind of nuts. But dude, I think that's the team to beat, man, right now. To be honest with you, I think Baltimore has more of a complete team from defense, special teams, offense. I don't think their offense is better than Miami's. I don't think any teams are, to be honest. I think Miami's
Mhm.
just deadly, dude. Um, but I think that Dolphins team, dude, something about it, man. They're a really good football team. I just think they got to play those hard competitions. They got to win those games. They haven't won any of those games this year. Baltimore's lost against teams that they should have won against. They didn't win. They didn't look too good against the Rams. The Rams played them pretty well, but I think, dude, I think the Dolphins, man. I think the Dolphins are the team to beat in the AFC. What about you? What do you think?
Really? I think the Dolphins are still too new. When I look at the playoffs, I look at who's been there, and you go straight to Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh. I'm sorry, and I know Lamar Jackson hasn't done historically great in the playoffs, but you know what? He's got that under his belt. He's got that under his belt. He's got a few playoff games. He knows what he's doing wrong. And this year, more than any other year, I just feel like that they're finally letting Lamar deal the ball. And it's just showing that how complete this team and how complete this offense can really be when you don't just have Lamar Jackson just running the ball every time. Who was your previous offensive coordinator?
Greg Roman.
Greg Roman, who you hated. He just wanted to make Lamar
Yeah.
run damn near every play. And, you have a new OC come in, and he's like, all right, Lamar, let's step back there. We'll give you Odell. We'll give you Zay. I know you guys lost Mark Andrews for the year, and that's just a huge loss, and I understand that. I mean, but you guys can go out and maybe get a veteran like Zach Ertz. Pair him up with
Yeah.
Isaiah Likely. I think it would just be great. I think that defense is just playing lights out. I think the team to beat in the AFC which is crazy. I was fully expecting before we started that you're going to go the Baltimore Ravens with me, and you kind of threw me in a little bit of a loop over here. And I think it's pretty obvious, Ray. I think you're not giving the Ravens enough credit. Actually, I think you're always going to drop some tough games. It's just what happens. It's this National Football League. You'll lose to teams that you should never lose to. It's just what happens. You guys did play a tough game against the Rams. It came down to a Tyler and Wallace punt return, which was super exciting. But that just
It was
shows
crazy. It was
that
crazy.
it was. But that just shows right there, man, how complete this team is, how in one in sync this team is right now. And I really think the most deadliest team in football right now, AFC, NFC, is actually still the Baltimore Ravens. But I have to ask you before we move over to the NFC side, what's going on with the Chiefs? They're not looking
Dude,
too good. Mahomes is throwing fits on the sideline. The receivers dropping the balls, the most dropped in NFL right now. What's going on with the
yeah.
Chiefs?
To be honest with you, man, for the first time, I think in that I've seen, I mean, we've been watching Patrick Mahomes for quite some time now. And
Mhm,
dude, that was the first time that I saw him embarrass himself.
mhm.
Seriously, dude. Him, I've never seen him. I mean, as far as professionalism goes, I mean, bro, he straight up embarrassed himself. Like he was whining about the call. Like if you look back at that game, Cardarius Tony, who needs to be fired, by the way. Cardarius Tony, you know what? Can I throw a stat out here, Rob?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think if I'm not mistaken, damn, I think it's 82 or 84 out of 82 or 84 wide receivers or something like that in the NFL,
Mhm,
um, that have 25 catches. He ranks dead last. Cardarius Tony is dead last. Bro, this guy needs to be let off the team. There's a
yeah,
reason why that the New York Football Giants let him go for a third round pick. I can't even believe they got a third round out of him. But there's a reason why. And if you go back and watch that film and watch that game, look where he's actually lined up sometimes. Not once, not twice. I think, dude, it was like 4 or 5 times. He actually was offsides, but the refs never called it. So
mhm,
for those who maybe need to watch, like if you watch that last play, if you're a wide receiver, your job, the refs aren't going to tell you anything. That's not
mhm,
their job. Their job is to go out there and to ref the game. But if you look at some wide receivers, especially if they're in that kind of formation, that three bunch formation or any kind of formation, you always see that receiver that looks at the ref. I don't know if you never noticed
mhm.
that, Rob. They'll
Yeah,
look at the
gives them a
ref
thumbs up.
and gives them a thumbs up.
Yeah,
That right there is what you're supposed to do. And Cardarius Tony never looked that way. That dude was looking right at the ball.
mhm,
He was over the ball looking at the ball, which is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Because I was like, damn, dude, look at the referee. Like, and then Patrick Mahomes just goes nuts on the sideline, absolutely embarrasses himself. I mean, damn, did you see the post game of him and Josh Allen? He's like complaining about the
yeah,
call.
yeah. He said, "What did
I
he say?
was
Was this the
like,
worst game I've ever seen, or something, or worst
it's like the
officiating game?"
yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
worst call he's ever seen or something like that. I'm like, just say like just good game and walk away. How many times has Josh Allen been screwed in that
yeah,
stadium or just in general?
mhm.
13 seconds left or however many seconds. And that
Overtime.
guy's came out, yeah, dude, and he's walked out on the field and shook his hand and never
Mhm,
complained about it. I think for the first time, dude, I think that this Chiefs kingdom is falling apart. Those wide receivers, bro, they're bad.
they're
They are
bad.
bad, dude.
Yeah,
They're really bad. Consistent drop passes, horrible route running. Kelsey's getting triple teamed. Like you can't, dude, is bad, dude. It's bad for if you're a Chiefs fan. It's not your year, dude. But that's the Chiefs' fault.
yeah,
They could have got D Hop. They could have got Odell. I'm not saying that those guys would have came in and put up 1,000 yards or whatever. I think maybe D Hop would have, but I don't think Odell would have. But I think D Hop definitely would have. Or they could have gotten more pieces for him, and they never did. They just said, "We got Patty Mahomes. We're good."
mhm,
And it's
mhm.
showing, dude. It's showing. What do you think, Rob? What do you think is going on with the Chiefs?
It just comes down to it. I think their defense is playing pretty good. I think their defense is what keeping them
Yeah.
in the game. I think Isaiah Pacheco is having just one hell of a year. Um, I think the Chiefs would have even a worse record if it wasn't for Isaiah Pacheco being in there and pounding the rock when they really needed it because their offense has no identity. It's Travis Kelsey and nobody else. Maybe a little sprinkle of Noah Gray, maybe MBS if he wants to catch the ball. Maybe Kadarius Tony if he doesn't throw hissy fits on the sideline. Um, I mean, they went and traded for Miko Hardman. He went on IR. Sky Moore, second round pick, didn't pan out. I mean, this is why you cannot. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you are Tom Brady. Tom Brady needed guys like Julian Edelman. He needed guys like Wes Welker, like Randy Moss, like Gronkowski, like Hernandez, like Dion Branch, like his go-to
Oh
guys, the
yeah,
most reliable third down guys. If I'm to ask you right now, besides Travis Kelsey, name somebody else on that team that is even decent. And you can't. On that offensive side, you just can't. And it's
can't.
just simple. I'm sure there's guys on the free agent market that they can go after. Maybe they might not be the best. I see guys like Jarvis Landry. Maybe you give him another slot guy. I just don't understand why the Chiefs. I think what we saw from Patrick Mahomes was just a broken man. He knows
Yeah.
that the whole franchise is on his damn shoulders. And that's it. That's all the franchise gave him. They're like, you're gonna go out there. We're gonna give you all this money. You're gonna be the next great quarterback. And every quarterback needs some playmakers. And until he gets some playmakers, he's not going nowhere. And the Chiefs, they are not going anywhere this year. That's for sure.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And Rob, since we're on the AFC as of right now, I got to ask you. You are a Patriot aficionado. You are a true Patriot fan from bottom to top, top to bottom, however you want to put it. There's been a lot of talk this season, actually after the season, when the season's over, about Bill Belichick.
Mhm.
Is he going to be with the New England Patriots moving forward? How do you foresee this happening? Do you think he deserves to have another chance? Do you think that Robert Kraft's going to let him go? What are you going to do with Mac Jones? What kind of direction would you like to see moving forward with your football team?
You know, I'm very torn because there's weeks where I'm like, this guy needs to go, this guy needs to go fire. And then there's weeks like last week. We go into Pittsburgh and we just beat the dog's knock out of them. And it's very tough because I love Bill Belichick. I love Tom Brady. I don't love one more than the other, to be very honest with you. I think there was both of them. They just worked together, and that's what built our dynasty. I don't think it was all Tom Brady. I don't think it was all Bill Belichick. I don't think there is a Tom Brady without Bill. I don't think there's a Bill without Tom Brady. I just think that's how it is. But as of right now, football is a what have you done to me lately type of league. Tom Brady, the great Tom Brady, even got cut from a team because of his age. Bill Belichick is the second oldest coach, right behind Pete Carroll. Bill Belichick, the GM, is going to get Bill Belichick, the coach, fired. I don't think Bill Belichick, the coach, is bad. I think the Bill Belichick GM is just absolutely horrible. And you know what it is? It's just coming with age. Just like players start aging, coaches start aging. Bill Belichick is well over 70. He doesn't need this job. He's financially stable. He has his sons in the league coaching. He's pretty much got everything. Like what is he really even coaching for at this point? Just to prove, oh, I didn't need Tom Brady. You did need Tom Brady. It's just a fact. To circle all back, does Bill Belichick deserve to get fired? I think as hard as it is, I don't think he'll get fired. I think it will be a mutual agreement to part ways, and I do think Bill Belichick will not be in New England next year. And it's not because of Bill
Wow.
Belichick, the coach. I think it's going to be because of Bill Belichick, the GM. He's given Mac Jones almost non-existent weapons. I mean, he gave Devontae Parker a contract with 10, 11 million a year. Absolutely horrible. The dude is glass. Drafted Tyquan Thornton in the second round. Dude is glass. Can barely stay healthy. When he's on the healthy, he can't run good routes. N'Keal Harry. Everybody knows. What happened to N'Keal Harry. It's just the offensive side of the football is just so bad for Bill Belichick, the GM, putting the team together. It's just not going to work. And I also think Bill is to blame, but not Bill Belichick. I also think Bill O'Brien needs to take a lot of the blame. You know, Bill Belichick gave all the reins. Here, Bill. Here, Bill O'Brien. You take all of it. You take all of it. You're gonna call the play calls. You're gonna be in charge. You're in charge of Mac Jones' development. Mac Jones last year, he had all the excuses in the books. He had a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator. It's not Mac Jones' fault. This year, third offensive coordinator in Mac Jones' third year. You show me a quarterback that can succeed like that. I don't think Mac Jones is a horrible quarterback. I do think Mac Jones can still have a future in this league as a starter, even if it's a journeyman starter. I still think Mac Jones can still do well. I think Bill O'Brien needs to go at some point this season, or maybe on our next loss. He needs to go so we can see if our offense can spark without him and see if it's Bill O'Brien or if it's Bill Belichick. That's the problem. And my money is on Bill O'Brien. There's a reason why he gets tossed around the league. There's a reason why he got clowned and went on his time in Houston. I think Bill O'Brien should have never been hired. I was extremely upset when we hired Bill O'Brien. I wanted Cliff Kingsbury as our offensive coordinator. I want Cliff Kingsbury as our next coach, even if that's possible. I know he had a
Uh,
bad I know he had a bad tenure in Arizona, but I just think Cliff Kingsbury, former New England Patriot, I think he would. I think Cliff will have a chip on his shoulder. I think he's a great offensive mind coach, and I think that's what the Patriots need right now. Our defense is studly. In 3 games we gave up 10 points, 6 points, and 10 points again. Our defense
Phenomenal.
is great. Our defense is what has been keeping us in these games. And that's with, missing pieces like Christian Gonzalez and missing pieces like Matthew Judon, and we have a lot of big names out. And I think our defense is just fine. I think our offense just needs a lot of work. But if Bill Belichick gets fired, it's not because of Bill Belichick, the coach. It'll be because of Bill Belichick, the GM.
I do have a question for you too. On the Patriots, everything you said, I think is spot on, dude. I think it's phenomenal. I think that's a fantastic take, by the way. Um, the wide receiver coach,
Mhm.
would you get rid of him as well? Because a wide receiver coach, his job is to have obviously the development of the wide receivers, is to make sure that they're doing their routes right and they're developing as wide receivers, and your tight ends coach. Is there anything, would you change that as well if you were in the position of like a Robert Kraft? Would you change that as well, or would you keep those guys?
I would burn down all of the coaches. I would not get rid of our wide receivers coach. It is Troy Brown. I think Troy Brown is a good coach. I just don't think Troy Brown has a good receiver to work with. Um,
Yeah,
and he's finally developing a young receiver. I thought it was going to be Keyshawn Boudier, but it ends up being Demario Douglas. Demario Douglas is having a great year when he's on the field. Unfortunately, he's a little guy. He gets tossed around here and there. It's just unfortunate, and I don't think he'll play a full season just because he is such a smaller guy. Um, but he's our wide receiver one, realistically. Demario
yeah,
Douglas, our rookie, is our wide receiver one. Our sixth round pick rookie is our wide receiver one this year. We drafted guys
that's
like
crazy.
Juju, and Juju is just extremely washed. Extremely washed. That was a horrible signing because of Bill Belichick, the GM. Devontae Parker was a horrible signing because of Bill Belichick, the GM. It's hard to point fingers at our offensive coaches exactly. But you have to go to the play callers. The play callers are the ones that are getting these guys in those positions to begin with, and then you have to go to the GM because the GMs are the is the guy that's getting these players on the field to begin with. I would
Yep.
look at those two guys before I would look at all these assistant coaches. I think Troy Brown is doing a great job in developing in Keyshawn Boudier, and I think Keyshawn Boudier will catch a few passes in New England next year. Maybe not this year, but next year he will. Demario Douglas, I think he'll have a pretty good role in New England. And I think,
I think he will too.
I think Troy Brown is the one that's really developing these younger guys. So I would not get rid of
Yeah.
our wide receiver coach.
I know that you had said that you would want Cliff Kingsbury as your head coach for next year. But do you have anybody in mind for your offensive coordinator? Because I feel like that is such a huge. That's so huge, man.
Yeah,
Trust me, as a Ravens guy that's gone through many offensive coordinators, that
yeah,
is you want somebody who's innovative, who has that that magic, dude, that
hmm
just has it. You know what I'm saying? Is there
hmm
anybody that you see out there in the market that like catches your eye? Or
yes.
is or is or does Cliff Kingsbury just call the plays?
If he doesn't want to call the plays, I think bringing a guy back like Josh McDaniels would be great for us. I really hope.
Really?
As an offensive
Really?
coordinator, not as a head
Wow.
coach, not as a head
Oh, no,
coach.
no, no, no,
Yeah, yeah.
no. No.
As an offensive coordinator, I think Josh McDaniels would be great. I think he would do good. And there's I did say I would want Cliff Kingsbury. There's still a few other coaches that I would prefer over Cliff Kingsbury. I just said him, former New England Patriot. Bob Kraft likes these guys that are been around the organization and stuff like that. So that's why I just threw Cliff Kingsbury's name out there. I think he's a real possibility to be the coach of the New England Patriots if Bill Belichick leaves.
Wow. Dude, man, I gotta for the first time in your segment, in your take, I gotta disagree with the McDaniels. I
Yeah,
gotta disagree with it. Dude, I just think he's a bad coach, man.
he
I
is. He's
don't
a
like
terrible
him.
coach.
I
He's a terrible
I
head
I mean,
coach.
I don't dude, even as it's hard with him from a offensive coordinator standpoint because of Tom.
Hmm.
It's really hard. It's kind of like if I had if you had Peyton or somebody, Peyton Manning. It's tough.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to get somebody outside of that's not within the organization. You wouldn't want to get somebody like, damn, I don't know. I mean, like, it's a tough thing, but like I know the Texans coordinator is doing great. I mean, that
Yeah.
kid CJ Stroud's balling. I mean, but he's calling the plays.
Yeah.
That offensive coordinator is giving him the plays, and or somebody of that magnitude is just young, innovative, or just not even it has not to be young, but just innovative in general. You wouldn't want somebody outside of the organization. You would want to keep it all in the roots in the organization. Because if you're going to keep it in the roots, then that would make sense if Bill Belichick comes back.
Hmm.
If Bill Belichick leaves, do you think that inside it's got to stay inside the organization? You think it's just going to flow that way?
I'm saying this all off of not what I want to happen, but what I think will happen.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Just knowing how Robert Kraft operates, he's still going to be stuck on those 6 Super Bowl rings for the rest of his life. And he will take that to his grave. And I think he will always try to put the band back together. And I think I am going to be very upset next year because I really think there's a good possibility that Josh McDaniels can even be our next head coach, and that would
Wow.
upset the hell out of me. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts
Wow.
about it. I would be really upset. Josh McDaniels fought to start Jimmy Garoppolo. Dave Ziegler lost his job as the Raiders GM because of Josh McDaniels. He told Josh, I don't know if you've seen the reports that came out. He had a package all ready to go up to number 2 from the Texans, had it all approved to go get CJ Stroud. And Josh McDaniel said, "No, I want Jimmy Garoppolo as my quarterback." Josh McDaniels should never, ever, 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 ever be a head coach or be allowed to make decisions again other than just being an
Amen to
offensive
that.
coordinator. And Mac Jones had his best year when Josh McDaniels was there. He
It's true.
Mac
It's
Jones had a
true.
great rookie year. Mac Jones did the gritty and the Pro Bowl. You know,
That's true.
I think Josh McDaniels is a really good offensive coordinator. I would love to see him back in New England as an offensive coordinator, but not anything more than that. Anything more than that, our season's already done next year.
Well, my last question for you is this, man, on your Pats. Caleb Williams. I mean, what are you gonna do with Mac Jones here? Are you guys? I think it's done. I think
Yeah.
your guys' relationship with him is over.
Hmm.
It's a sad relationship because you saw the promise there when he was in his rookie year, like you said.
Hmm.
He had a fantastic rookie year. I don't care what anybody says. He had a really good year. Um, and do you go Drake Maine? Do you go Caleb Williams at a USC? If that's the case, do you keep Bill Belichick? I know you said you would kind of part ways with him, but man, getting somebody dynamic, you see what CJ Stroud can do. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Caleb Williams is going to be the next CJ Stroud or Patrick Mahomes or anything like that, but if he plays good and you guys get a good offense around him, dude, Bill can coach for the next 20 years, man. He'll coach till he's 100 years old. He literally will, man. It's crazy.
I don't know about
But
20 years, man. He might be a bag of bones by then, but I've told you, Ray, what I think will happen with the Patriots, but that's not what I want to happen with the Patriots. What I want to happen as a fan, and I'm sure a lot of the Patriots fans, whoever's left, will agree with me, saying that it's really time for a damn change. It's time to move on from those 6 Super Bowl rings. It's time to move on from the dynasty, and it's time to move on from Bill Belichick. It's just what it is. And if it's I'll be happy if Bill Belichick's son, is the next head coach. I would honestly very wholeheartedly welcome that. He's a great defensive coordinator, great linebackers coach. Our linebackers are flying around and they go to other places and they're just absolute nobodies. Steve Belichick is really making a lot of our defensive players by himself. I think he's very innovative, and I think I don't want to go as so far as to say he can maybe outcoach his dad, but I think he can be more creative than his dad. Um,
do you think he has more of an open mind to
yes,
things
I think he
instead of
does.
just that old system? Hey,
Hmm.
let's bring in that old system, but let's also add some new
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Sprinkle some new things in there.
and he has that, and he has that grit in him, and I really like it. I would love to see that, but what I would really love to see, I would love to see somebody that's just like a D'Amico Ryans. I would love to get someone like a D'Amico Ryans. I would love to get someone. Maybe Robert Saleh gets fired from New York this year. I would lose my mind to get Robert Saleh. I love Robert Saleh. I think he's a great coach. Unfortunately, he's stuck with Zach Wilson. I think Robert Saleh can be a great coach. I want someone like a Mike McDaniels coming out as a coordinator and just proving himself like that. And that's the type of coach that I want. And just looking around the league, Ray, I mean, which coordinators do you think are really up for jobs coming in? Do you think Baltimore Steve Steichen? Did
No. It would be
I
Todd Duncan. But
Todd Monken?
to
I'm
be
sorry.
honest, man, if there's a coordinator that you guys, if you want like innovative change and just it's a different system, I think. Do you guys play a West Coast system? I don't know if you guys do.
We dabbled a little bit in it.
A dabble.
Yeah,
Well, I was gonna say, what about the San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator?
yeah.
I
Um,
know Kyle Shanahan calls the plays. That's the big question there. But Mike McDaniels, once again, he was an offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or was he the run game coordinator?
he was the
He was
offensive
some, he was
coordinator.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
started as a running backs coach, I think, and then he went to offensive coordinator. Whoever's that offensive coordinator in San Francisco, they're killing it. They're that
yeah,
scheme, everything, they're killing it, man. You can go underneath that tree. You can even go. I mean, you could look at the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, their offense is good. You could go, like you said, Todd
yeah,
Monken from the Ravens, if you want to go that route too. Um,
yeah,
I just think it depends on that quarterback. I mean, I've heard through the grapevine that Billy B might get traded. It might,
yeah.
and they might do a Sean Payton kind of thing. I don't know if you heard reports about that.
I have.
If he gets traded, where is he going to go? I don't know, man. I can't see Bill Belichick on another football team. I
Yeah.
just can't see him in a different color, you know?
So there's
And if
two. There's
so,
two. There's two. I'm sorry to cut you off. I got excited when you
no,
talked
no, no,
about this.
no.
There's two teams that are reportedly would be interested in Bill Belichick. The number one is the Washington Commanders, and the second one,
Wow.
can you imagine Bill Belichick in the powdered blue as the LA Chargers? I just can't see the
The
LA
LA
Chargers. I
Chargers.
don't know if I could see Bill
Wow.
Belichick in the LA Chargers. I can kind of see him floating in that Washington organization, but I don't know. I feel like the LA fan base brings more of a younger crowd. I don't know if Bill Belichick is the guy for them. I don't know if Bill Belichick's the guy for Justin Herbert. And I think wherever Bill Belichick goes, I think he wants to stay GM. I don't think he wants to step down GM, and that whoever is going to be has to do it right. And I think the Commanders is a real possibility. They got a new owner as of this year. Dan Snyder gone. Josh Harris in from the 76ers head coach. I'm sorry, owner. Um, I think the Commanders make sense. You know, they need to sell those tickets. I believe they have the biggest stadium with the most capacity, if I'm not mistaken. You know, they got to put those
Yeah.
butts in seats, and who does it more than Bill Belichick? You know, they've had some rocky years. I think the Commanders make really good sense, but I don't think Sean Payton went for what, first and a second round, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Sean Payton's in his late 50s, early 60s. Bill Belichick's in his up like 70, 71, 72, somewhere around there. I just don't see a first and a second round. I can see a first round, and but then if you're the Washington Commanders, right, would you give up a first round for Bill Belichick, a 70-year-old Bill Belichick who's been declining?
I would not. No.
I would not
If
either.
I'm the Commanders, I wouldn't do it. The Chargers, that's very intriguing to me
Yeah.
because I think the Commanders still they're a good football team. The Commanders, I get it. They're they're actually I mean they're really not that great of a football team. Just being honest, um, because of the quarterback situation there.
Mhm.
See, the quarterback situation for LA is already done. I
Yeah.
mean, I do think he's a good quarterback. The Chargers quarterback Herbert.
Herbert.
But you got Keenan Allen, you got all this stuff. You just got to get the pieces together, and all you need is just a little bit more offensive firepower for them, just to kind of get them a little bit more. Which is, I mean, their first round draft pick, Quentin Johnson's a bust. To be honest, he's not playing well at all. He
No.
might be better next year. Who knows? I mean, who knows? But he's not playing up to par. That offense is in shambles. Honestly, dude, if I had to choose somewhere for Bill Belichick to go, why not Minnesota? Why not the Vikings? I mean, you
Huh?
got Justin Jefferson there. We all know he's when healthy, he's the best wide receiver in all of football.
Yeah.
You got a really good wide receiver in Jordan Addison,
Mhm.
fantastic wide receiver. T.J. Hawkinson's there. I mean, they just need a quarterback. I don't think Kirk Cousins is the answer.
No?
So what? No, no, I don't. I don't. I get it. He had a good year, but
Mhm.
man, he was gonna have the probably the he was gonna that dude was on records to on a
On
he
pace.
was putting
Yeah.
up crazy numbers and losing games. It was the most insane thing. But if there's one thing that Bill Belichick can do is he can change your defense.
Mhm.
He is such a great genius when it comes to just the defense in general. I think that's a specialty, man. And he knows how to go in there and take away your best player. He knows
Yeah.
how to do that in a creative manner. Just offensively, dude, I I just don't trust Kirk Cousins. If if I was the Vikings, I'd go for it. I'd give them not this year's first rounder, next year's first round, and I'd go get somebody like Drake Maine. I don't think you can guys can get. I don't think they can get Caleb Williams. I don't know what's going to happen with the other college quarterbacks that are if they're going to declare or not.
Mhm.
Um, I just know that Drake Maine did declare, so he's going to be in the draft. Caleb Williams, guys like Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, who are at Michigan, all those other guys. I don't know if they're going to be declaring or not, but if they do, dude, the Vikings, man, I see them being the best team.
Yeah.
I really do. Um, I think they got all the firepower from offensive standpoint. They just need a quarterback.
You
And then
know,
after that, everybody just go defense. Draft defense, free agency, go defense. Give Bill Belichick all the arsenals, all the defensive weapons you can possibly get him, and I think there'll be a playoff contending team.
the last time big name free agent hit the market or was about to hit the market and Tom Brady, he went to Tampa Bay. I think Bill Belichick in Tampa Bay would be really good. I think, they
Yeah,
have Rashad White doing great. Mike Evans,
he's
Chris
doing great.
Godwin. I understand they're getting a little bit older, but Mike Evans is still him. He is still balling out. Kate Otten, the
He's
tight
doing
ends
great.
coming in. They have a few pieces on the O line. They have a great D line, great defense, and I just think Bill Belichick is the guy to put it together. I think even Tampa Bay really makes sense, to be honest with you, to go after Bill Belichick. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
and
good suitors for Bill Belichick, honestly.
I agree too. And you know what? One thing I want to mention too, if he goes uh to that football team, just say if he goes, the weather's fantastic over there.
Hmm.
It's a lot
Exactly.
better than New England, dude. New England's
Yeah.
cold, bro. It's cold, so he'll be in better climate conditions over there too.
Yeah.
In for the Tampa Bay
Yeah.
because it's in Florida. Florida's got great weather, so um
That's where
that
old
might be
people
a
go to.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, dude, that's where they go to retire, bro.
Yeah.
It's good on their bones. It's great on their
Exactly.
bones, man. So,
Yeah.
but the question is once again, it's the quarterback situation. Just how I
Mhm.
kind of mentioned with the Viking situation. What are you gonna do there? Baker's not the answer, man. He's not the answer. It's just he's not. I don't know what you do. I don't
Yeah.
know where they're gonna go. What kind of direction, and is Bill Belichick willing to wait on a rookie, you know what I mean? Like on
I
a
don't
on a
see
rookie
it.
kind of guy. I don't know, man.
I
It's got
don't
to be
see it.
somebody like a Caleb Williams or somebody who could just come in and step in right away and just perform. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's tough, dude. He's in a tough position, man. I don't know what you guys are gonna do. I don't know, man.
It's going to be a tough and very fun, entertaining, and very interesting offseason for the New England Patriots. And just going in, I just don't fully know what to expect. I mean, there's a part of me that's ready to move on from Bill Belichick, and there's a part of me like, what the hell am I thinking? That's the greatest coach of all time. Why would I want to move on from someone like that? Then I see the shit that he does on the GM, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I want to move on from Bill Belichick. It's honestly infuriating, and this has been a very, very, very long season, and I know you're happy for this season, but I'm ready for this season to be over. I'm so ready for the off season. I'm ready for the free agent moves, ready for the draft buzz, ready to cover the combine with you, ready to cover the draft with you. And I'm just very excited to see what the Patriots do. And Raymond, Bill Belichick always throws curveballs. That's what he's done since day one.
Yeah.
If he stays,
It's true.
if he stays, there's a possibility that you might have to put a camera on me and maybe me on a little bit of a watch on draft day because Bill Belichick is known to trade down. If he ends up staying and trading down and not taking a stud quarterback up there in the top 5, I might lose my shit. I might lose my shit. I would
Dude.
I it would just be so infuriating, so disappointing as a Patriots fan. But if Bill Belichick is there, if Bill Belichick, the GM, is there, I have to mentally prepare myself to know that we're possibly going to trade down, and it's gonna just would
Well,
just be
right
the
as
worst
of
move
right now,
ever.
Carolina's got the number 1 pick, right? Carolina
Um,
has to have the number 1 pick,
which
if I'm not
goes
mistaken.
which goes to the Bears, but yeah,
Okay, so that pick goes to the Bears?
yeah, yeah, because of the trade
Okay.
from Bryce Young last year.
I mean, kinda switching gears to the NFC side, what do you think about that? That's interesting to me to know what they're gonna do with Justin Fields. Do
Hmm.
do you think they're gonna let him go? Do you think they're gonna keep him?
I think
It's tough, bro.
they've been down this road. Um,
Yeah.
they had they had the number one pick last year. They had a chance to take Bryce Young. They had a chance to take C.J. Stroud, and they were like, "No, Justin Fields is our guy." Did they do it this year? He did show some progress when they brought in DJ Moore. He's had a great connection with DJ Moore, but that's about it. I mean, yeah, he has a little connection with their tight end Cole Kmet. Um, there's still a lot of pieces that the Bears need. I don't think it's solely Justin Fields' fault, but I think they will probably move on. I think they will
Wow.
move on from Justin Fields, and they will probably trade Justin Fields right over here because they've been there down this road, and now they're back in again.
You know what, dude? And speaking of Justin Fields, where he would go, I mean, dude, you got a lot of suitors, man. I mean, the Vikings, maybe? I mean, that would be very deadly, dude. That
I
would be an
don't
unstoppable offense.
I don't think they'll keep him in the division. They'd be stupid to keep him in the division.
Yeah, that's true. What
I,
about
w-
New England?
I was just gonna say that. I would welcome that. I would really welcome that.
Yeah,
I
I
honestly
I
would.
would too, man. I would too.
Do you
I
remember
think
draft day? Do you remember draft day? I didn't, wasn't even talking about Mac Jones. The guy was falling that I kept saying, I'm like, Justin Fields is falling to us. We're gonna get Justin Fields, aren't we? And the Bears swooped in and they stole Justin Fields, and the rest is history from that. It's time to right that wrong, man. Justin Fields come to New England. I think I'm ready to welcome that.
dude, I'm telling you, man, that would be nuts. Your
Yeah.
guys' offense would be amazing because that guy can. I mean, not only he can throw the ball, but he can also run the ball extremely efficiently. So
Hmm.
it's. I'm telling you, man, it makes the games way more funner because you
Yeah.
could just see the craziest like stuff ever, and you're like, how the hell did he do that? It just makes it. I just think it makes the game more exciting. Um, but I got to ask you this last question, man. Switching kind of towards the NFC side. Who do you think is the team to beat on the NFC side?
I think there's only one right answer. And
Yeah.
you look at teams like Philadelphia, you look at teams like San Francisco, but it's the Dallas Cowboys, man. The Dallas Cowboys are the
What?
team to beat in the NFC, man.
Oh.
I said it.
Oh,
Here I
wow.
am. I was one year
Damn.
I was 1 year too early on this bandwagon. Not last year, but the year before, I predicted the Dallas Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. I didn't predict them to win, but I predicted them to go. They are going to the Super Bowl this year. Mark my words, against the Baltimore Ravens. Those are my two teams that I'm
Wow.
picking this year. The Dallas Cowboys went and beat the dog snot out of the Philadelphia Eagles. And to do that to your division foe, that was just pure ruthless. I think the
Oh,
Dallas
yeah.
Cowboys, Dak is playing out of his mind right now. Dak is playing at a high elite level. I hate the Dallas Cowboys, but I have to give credit where it's due. I think the Dallas Cowboys are 110% the team to beat. If Trayvon Diggs could somehow had stayed healthy in this team, I think it would have been just a surefire lock over here. But I still think that defense is just doing great. Tony Pollard's getting going. CD Lamb is just going bonkers recently. And Dak is getting in a groove. Dak's getting in a groove, spreading the ball around, giving CD more chances. They got Jake
Yeah.
Ferguson, the tight end, coming along. Their offensive lineman's playing great. Their coaching has been great. And they're playing with some swag, I feel like. I think the
They
Dallas
really are.
Cowboys are the team to beat in the NFC. And I knew that's a curveball right to you.
Dude, that's a major curveball. Yeah, I gotta go the San Francisco 49ers, man. I mean, talk about. I know you said that they beat the living damn crap out of the Cowboys beat the crap out of the Eagles. But
Uh-huh.
what about the Niners?
Yeah.
The Niners beat the crap out of the Eagles, and they beat the crap out of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Both of them. They stomped them, dude. And I know Dak is definitely playing at MVP level by far. I will easily, if they gave it to him, I wouldn't really be mad at all.
Hmm.
But I think Brock Purdy's the MVP right now. I really do. I don't know. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, dude. I've never like I don't I'm sure you watch those San Francisco games with your bro. I know your bro's a huge San Francisco 49er fan. I got a lot of family members who are 49er fans too.
Yeah.
I just watch their games, dude, and I just like I mean, I don't it just teams forget how to tackle. I mean,
Hmm.
it's actually mind-blowing, dude. Like, I mean, you see guys hit Debo and they just bounce right off him, and then Debo goes and scores. Or like George Kittle, like it's just I don't know, man. It's just I don't know, like it's like no teams know how to tackle these guys. Christian McCaffrey runs for like 100 and 200 yards a game, pretty much just 200 yards. And it's like Trent Williams is pretty much unblocked. He's just the most dominant left tackle in the game for sure. He just changes everything. I just don't see how Brandon Ayuk, I mean, the list goes on and on. This team just has weapons, dude, and Brock Purdy has all the time in the world, and he just picks everybody apart. If they don't want to trust Brock Purdy throwing the ball, then they just run it with Christian McCaffrey, and that guy he's just I just don't see how the Cowboys or the Eagles or anybody in the NFC can take this team down.
Hmm.
I mean, I really would love to get your perspective on this because I know, like I said, I know that your brother's a huge 49er fan. I'm sure you've watched their games probably a lot more than I have this season. But from the times I have watched them, like I said, dude, like teams forget how to tackle. I mean, it's just missed tackles, gone. It's over. And
Hmm.
then Brock Purdy is just picking these guys apart. These guys are wide open by like 5 to 8 yards, sometimes 10 yards, dude. I'm like, oh my gosh, who's guarding these dudes? It's just, I don't think any defense right now has any answer for these guys. I think Kyle Shanahan is killing it. This Niners team is, bro, they're going to the Super Bowl. I think that out of everybody that I've seen in the NFC and in the AFC, they have been consistent. I
Hmm.
mean, I really believe that, and they're dominating teams. They're not just beating them by a couple of they're beating them by like 21 points, 10, 15. They're just killing them, dude. And Brock Purdy is just he's playing at an unbelievable level, man. It just seems like nobody can touch this guy. No one can get to him. Um, and he's just picking guys apart. I mean, I know the games that they have lost, it's because Trent Williams was out, Debo was out, and you saw a different Brock Purdy. You
Hmm.
did see a different Brock Purdy in that aspect. He wasn't good. He didn't play well, and they lost those games. But but with those two guys in there, their whole offense changes, and they're pretty much unstoppable. I'd love to get your perspective on those Niners, though. I'd love to see how you feel, why you think if these guys, because let's be honest, these guys are going to verse each other in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
So you're saying that the Cowboys are going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm saying the Niners are going to go to the Super Bowl. What do you see the Cowboys doing differently in rematch number what? I mean, they versed them how many times and they lost. I mean, this will be what, number 4?
I think
Rematch number 4, but in this year rematch number 2.
I think it's pretty easy, Ray. And it just comes down to what I always come back to is I come back to experience. Brock Purdy has very minimal experience in the playoffs. I just don't think a playoffs is a different breed. It's not the regular
It
season.
is.
These guys step up their game much more, and that's when the true dogs come out. And when I look at these two teams, I feel like they have the equal amount of dogs in on their team. And I think both of these teams could easily meet in the NFC uh, conference championship. I think these two teams might be the two that will play in the NFC conference championship. And the only reason why I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys as a slight edge is just because, kind of what when I took the Ravens. What I go back to, yeah, Dax had some horrible losses in the playoffs, but I think he's going to learn from it. I don't think Brock Purdy has had those losses in the playoffs. He's been hurt in the playoffs. This is his first full year if he can stay healthy into the playoffs. I think the San Francisco Niners will have their time definitely. I just don't think this year is quite their time yet. I'm going to lean more towards who's been there and who's kind of done that. And I'm just going to lean a little bit more towards the Dallas Cowboys in here. And I really hope
Yeah.
that they go to the Super Bowl and the Baltimore Ravens just beat the dog snot out of the Dallas Cowboys like 42-0. There would be nothing more better than that to me.
Dude, oh man, that would be nuts, man. Like I said, man, I'm really trying to stay um with the Ravens. Oh man, I'm really trying to stay here
Yeah.
with them. I don't want to be up here. I don't want to be down here. I just want to be neutral.
Hmm.
And I will admit, hey, Lamar has not played well in the playoffs. I think he's what, 1-3.
1-3, yeah.
He plays absolutely hot trash. It's kind of like a James Harden thing. I don't get it. He plays so good in the regular season, but then when it comes to playoff time, he's just a different kind of guy. He's not that guy. I hope that does change. Like you said, I'm rooting for my team to go all the way. I hope they do, but there is mountains he has to climb.
Yeah.
And it starts with him, man. I mean, he's got to play better. He's got to protect the ball. I think he has 11 turnovers. I think he's got X amount of fumbles. I don't know if he's got like 10 fumbles or something this year, but he
Yeah.
has been doing a lot better protecting the ball. But I don't know, Rob. I'm trying to stay neutral because I know they're 10-3 right now. They got an opportunity to be the number one seed for it to go through Baltimore. I can't get my hopes up, dude. I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm excited for this football team. I'm very excited. But when it comes to playoff time, I know the Ravens are going to be in the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to be the number 1 seed, but I know that they will be in the playoffs. That's a fact.
Mhm.
But can Lamar Jackson win in the playoffs? I hope so. For me, I hope so. But it's just a wait and see, dude. It's a wait and see. I mean, I've seen this team choke so many times, man.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many I've had so many almost heart attacks in my life watching this damn football team week in, week out, and seeing, like, for example, last week, another heart attack game. Just like, man,
Mhm.
they can't have that in the playoffs, dude. They gotta win these games. They gotta win those games. Um, and the Niners, dude, just going back to them, I just don't see any teams beating them, dude. I just don't. I know the Ravens and the Niners are going to play on Christmas. That's going to be a really fun game. I'm very excited for that football game. But that's going to show right there on both teams. Hey, who's real, who's not? Both teams are real, but I don't know, man. I just don't see the Dallas Cowboys beating the Niners. I don't see the Eagles beating the Niners. I don't see it, dude. I just think something, like I said, man. I've never seen these guys, these defenders, when they
Mhm.
go and tackle these dudes, they bounce right off them. I've never seen it, bro. I've never seen some crazy stuff like that. Like, I don't know what the hell Debo Samuel is, man. That guy must be the most jacked dude, the biggest dude, the strongest guy in the world, man, for him just to keep bouncing off these dudes. Same with Kittle, same with Ayuk, all these guys, man. Like, they catch the ball, the and then the defender tries to go and get him, tackle him, bounces right off him, and then
Mhm.
gone. And then the next thing you know, it's like a 40, 50-yard touchdown. You're like, what happened?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it. I don't
Yeah,
know what it is,
absolutely.
dude.
It's
I don't know
frustrating.
what it is.
Yeah.
For to see that, because I mean, like I said, I'm as a Ravens fan, we're all bred in, defense, 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 right? So for
Mhm.
me to see that, it's very frustrating because I'm just like, how do you not wrap this guy up? How are you not, like,
Yeah.
their technique? It's like these guys' techniques are just gone. And it's nothing but credit to the Niners. It's just, you have to respect it, dude. And I respect that. I respect their football team, what Kyle Shanahan's doing, what Brock Purdy's doing. Dude, I think these guys probably will win the Super Bowl this year. The way that they're playing, man, it's hard to beat them, dude. It's just really hard to beat them. I don't know how they're gonna do it. How
I
teams are
just
gonna do
think
it.
I just think we've been here, done that with the Niners already. I think we've said this about the Niners quite a few times, even dating back to when Jim Harbaugh was in there, and the Ravens found a way to beat them in the Super Bowl. I, I just I'm just ready to hop off the Niners bandwagon just for a little bit until I see a little bit more experience, until I see when in crunch time in the playoffs, if they can actually truly get it done, if Brock Purdy can actually be him in the playoffs. And, I know you're excited for Christmas to see Baltimore against the Niners, but also the Dallas Cowboys are very excited. They're tied with the San Francisco 49ers at 10-3 right now. They have a chance to lock up home field advantage if they can win out, and if Niners just drop one game, and they can easily drop that game to the Baltimore Ravens coming up in just a few short weeks on Christmas Day. I think it's
And you
just
you know
good.
what's crazy about
Yeah.
that game? I apologize to cut you off. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, guess who they're versing that week?
Who are they playing?
So the Ravens versus the Niners on Monday Night Football, but that
Uh-huh.
Sunday game, the Dallas Cowboys are going to Miami.
There we go.
That's
It's
that's
a
a dope
huge
game,
week.
dude.
It's a
That's
huge
a
week.
huge week, bro. It's
Yeah,
such a big week, man, in football, dude. And I'm excited to see that game. I can't wait for us to do our pod and to talk about those games coming up.
yeah.
But I mean, dude, the playoff implications are crazy. They're pretty crazy right now, and I don't
There's,
know, dude.
these are the couple of hottest teams that are in the game right now. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. We got it. We have to throw up Philly in there. I know they got smacked by the Niners in Dallas, but you have to throw Philly in there. Do not count out the Philadelphia Eagles at all, and we are not discrediting them at all. I think they have a legitimate shot, and they were in the Super Bowl last year. They have a legitimate shot of going back again this year. It's just as simple as that. They're hungry. They've been there. They've done that. They want to get back and they want to win. Let's not, take out the Philadelphia Eagles in here, Ray. But I got to ask you, there's wild card spots too. There's wild card teams. A lot of wild card teams make it too. Who's a team that you have a little bit under the radar that's coming up into the playoffs?
You know, dude, on the, no, I apologize, Rob. Are you, I know the question is a team that's no one talking about. Are you talking about from the NFC side or the AFC or just both
Either
in
one.
general?
Either one.
Either one?
Yeah.
There, I would say right now there's a couple teams, uh, surprisingly, the Denver Broncos on the AFC side. I'm very, very excited about them. Dude, I remember them getting their ass kicked by the Dolphins like 70 to
70-20.
20.
Yeah.
Dude, and then out of nowhere, like everybody forgot about him. Everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Bro, this team's trash. It's done. They're over. It just call it. It's done." Now they're in the. They have a chance to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton are meshing together.
Mhm.
It's like they're finally it's like something maybe Russell Wilson wasn't doing. I think it was Russell Wilson. He a lot of people call him a diva. I believe that. He's kind of just this guy that just does his own thing, likes to do his own thing. Sean Payton is very Sean Payton. It has to be his way or you're not playing, right?
Mhm.
I think I think Russell Wilson finally bought into his system. I think that team is finally buying into his system, and
Yeah.
it's showing on the NFC side. Green Bay Packers. I like
Whoa.
dude. I told and you know what?
Dang.
This is something that I had said to you off camera that
Mhm.
I don't believe in Jordan Love. I don't believe in him. He's trash. I just don't like him. I don't believe. Man, I'm eating my words right now
Uh-huh.
because they're playing good football, dude. They're playing good football. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I get it. A lot of people are gonna, with that flag at the end of that game, probably the Chiefs should have won that game. But hey, it didn't happen. They win. They won. A win's a win.
Mhm.
And Jordan Love's playing good football, dude. They're playing good football. If Aaron Jones can come back healthy, you know, David Bakhtiari, I don't know how his health has been this season, but if that offensive line can stay together as a good group and dude, sky's the limit, man. They're a good football team.
I agree, and I'm gonna stay in that division. And I know they're 9-4, but you got to talk about the Detroit Lions, man. They deserve some love for what they put
Dude,
together this season. 9-4.
I apologize for cutting you off. I
No,
just want to say I really wanted to say the Lions. I
yeah,
really do. But I got to be honest, and I'm trying to be as non-biased as I can be this season and just trying to be as open-hearted as I can. I was so high on the Lions. They disappointed me yesterday big time. They
mm,
they let me down, dude. I mean, I'm sorry, I get it. Justin Fields is a great quarterback. That team's a good football team. It's a division matchup. It's always going to go down to the wire in those games. I'm worried about the Lions. I didn't say their name because I'm worried about them.
yeah,
I really am, dude. Um, I don't know what's going on with that football team from an
yeah.
offensive standpoint. I don't know, but I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're totally fine. And you know what? I was not expecting the Green Bay Packers, but I think that's a phenomenal under the radar pick. Um, I just wanted to throw the Lions in there because they do have a pretty good defense. They have they have great pieces together on offense. Say what you will about Jared Goff, everybody counted him out, but there was one guy that didn't, and that was Dan Campbell. He always admired Goff, always had faith in Goff, and never lost faith in Goff. And Goff has taken the Rams to the Super Bowl. They didn't win, but he did take him to the Super Bowl. And
That
he's been
counts.
there, done that. He's if David Montgomery can stay healthy, if Jameer Gibbs can keep on balling, if Amon-Ra St. Brown can keep going, Sam Laporta is coming on. They have a great offensive line. I think they do have a pretty good chance to make some damage in the playoffs. I don't think they can fully keep up with the AFC if they did make it to the Super Bowl, and I don't think they can keep up with teams like the Niners, the Cowboys, and maybe even the Eagles. To be very honest with you, But the AFC, Ray, I have to go with the Denver Broncos also, man. It's
Yeah,
it's it's just absolutely nuts for what they put on. They get smashed in the mouth 70-20. Excuse me. Then, they go on the road. They finally beat Chicago. Then they drop one to the Jets, to Zach Wilson and the Jets. And then what happens, right? Out of nowhere, they beat Kansas City 24-9. 24-9. And everyone's like, okay, hold on. Then next week, they go to Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills 24-20. Then they play the Vikings, who is red hot with Josh Jobs, beat the Vikings, beat the Browns, who were 7-5, beat the Tech. I'm sorry, they dropped the game to the Texans. CJ Stroud's been balling out of his mind, and then they come back and bounce back and smack Justin Herbert 24-7. I think, I think Denver Broncos are coming up. I think Sean Payne is getting the team together. I'm really worried about their offense, but I think their defense will keep them in these games. Russell Wilson's doing just barely enough to keep them in. Their run game really isn't getting going. I am worried about their offense, but I think the Denver Broncos, have a legitimate shot. I believe they're on the outside looking in right now.
yeah.
Yeah, they're on the ninth spot, tied at 7-6 with the Colts, who are technically in right now. Um, but Raymond, on a wild card team, how about the Cincinnati Bengals? Do you have any faith in them? Jake Browning is Jake Browning looks like Joe Burrow never left almost.
Bro, Jake Browning is doing really, really good. Uh, it just to be honest with you, man, it really depends on their schedule. I think if I'm not mistaken, dude, they got a really hard schedule
Hmm.
these last 4 games. Um, the team I had my eye on too was the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about like if they go in the playoffs, they might make some noise, dude. I mean, I know Josh Allen that guy gets a lot of shit, dude, from a lot of people, man. I mean, but he's proven, dude, like when he's on it, he's pretty much unstoppable, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he's just one of those guys where but then, he might make a mistake here or there, but the Bills, dude, they're looking pretty good right now. Like you said, I forgot the Cleveland Browns. Joe
I
Flacco,
was
baby. Joe
I was just gonna
Flacco. Can
mention
you
him.
believe that?
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you believe that? Joe Flacco. The GOAT.
I
I'm kidding. But you know what I'm saying? But dude, that's
go.
crazy, bro. I I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. I hate the Browns. Don't get me wrong, they're rivals, we gotta hate them and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
dude, I'm low key. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for old Joe, man. Like, he's balling, bro.
Yeah, he is.
He's balling, dude.
He put DTR on the bench, and DTR is going to stay on the bench because he is balling. He's got that offense together. Even without Nick Chubb, that offense is rolling
Yeah,
now. Jerome.
dude. And he's and I can't believe they're doing RPOs with Joe Flacco. That fool at
It
38 is doing
looks so
RPOs,
weird, doesn't it?
and he's balling, dude.
Yeah,
He's straight balling,
he's
and
sipping
I'm
the
like,
ball. Do you see him
wow.
to Njoku yesterday? He was feeding
Oh man.
Njoku.
Oh, dude, and finally, because Njoku is a great tight end.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's fantastic. Um, and yeah, dude, the Browns are another great team.
They're so sneaky, Ray. Do you think the Browns can do any damage in the playoffs, though?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm worried about them. Yeah, I will
really.
be honest with you. Yeah, if the Ravens versus the Browns, I'm very worried about it. And the
Wow.
reason why is because,
Joe Cool, baby,
dude,
Joe Cool.
bro, hey, if there's any guy you can't, if there's any dude in the NFL that has I'm not saying he has a better resume than Tom Brady in the playoffs,
Mhm.
but if there's anybody that I mean, damn, from the history of football, from the playoffs perspective, Joe Flacco's got the wins, dude. How many wins does that dude have in the playoffs? He's
It's
got a
insane.
lot of them. He's
Yeah.
got a lot, dude, and he's got a Super Bowl underneath his belt, dude. Joe Flacco in playoff time is somebody I don't want to see. I don't want to see that dude at all. I'm scared about that. And he's going to go back, and if he goes to the bank, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, he's comfy there. That's home for him. That's a home game for him. And I get it, he's in a different uniform, but that's a home game. It's crazy, dude. It's pretty nuts. Uh as far as is there anybody else on the NFC side that you see that could I mean aside from the Packers that could is there anybody that you think that can put a damper on the Cowboys or like the Niners? I, is there anybody that you see? Because I don't. Maybe Green Bay is the only team I think that could do something. But other than that,
Yeah.
that's
I just what about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Do you have any faith in the Jags?
I don't.
I don't
I
either.
don't.
I don't
I
know what
don't,
it
man.
is. I just don't have faith in the Jags this season.
I don't, dude. I don't know what it is with them, man. I just
Y-
think that they're not ready. I just
Yeah.
that's just how I feel about them. I think that they're a good football team. They got Travis Etienne. He's a baller.
Hmm.
He's a baller. Calvin Ridley's been a letdown this year, in my
Big time.
opinion. I think
Big
I
time.
think he's been a pretty good pretty bad letdown. Trevor Lawrence hasn't
So
been the
inconsistent.
guy. He's
So
very
inconsistent.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Um, that Jaguars and Niners game, when that game came on, dude, I was like, I gotta watch this game. Bro,
Hmm.
blowout. I mean,
Hmm.
absolutely blowout. And I'm just like, damn, dude. Like, and they lost. I get it. Lawrence didn't. I don't think he got hurt, right? Or no, he
Yeah.
played against the Browns. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He played poorly, dude. He played
Yeah.
poor football. He played bad football. And I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's hard to trust Jaguars. I love the Jaguars. I always felt like they were one of my second teams growing up.
Yeah,
I don't know why I always loved the Jaguars organization. I don't know. I love their jerseys. I love Trevor Lawrence, ETN. I think Christian Kirk's done for the year, if I'm not mistaken,
he
which
is.
is a huge blow because that's definitely Trevor Lawrence's number one.
Yeah,
And over Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's been their number two, maybe their number two sometimes.
yeah.
And yeah, I just don't have much faith in the Jags. I think the Browns will win a playoff game before the Jags will win a playoff games. But one team I think that is just absolute clowns and doesn't deserve to be in there is the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. How are the Pittsburgh Steelers in the freaking playoffs? That makes absolutely no sense at all. It's
Bro, I look, man. I'll be honest with you. Every time I see the Steelers up there, oh man, my blood boils, dude. If there's any team I hate the most, it's that damn team. I can't believe we lost to them. I still that one haunts me to this day, dude. I can't believe that. Well, I know why we lost. I mean, we dropped X amount of passes for almost like 200 yards against them, but I I have no idea, dude. I think that their team, dude, is just in such dysfunction. It's pretty nuts. And I sorry to cut you off, man, but is it 10-10 on this game?
That's what I just peeked up at. Yeah, it's 10-10
It's
on this
10-10?
game. How is the Tennessee Titans keeping up?
Okay, so let me ask you this. So I know I said the team to beat is the Dolphins. But I got to ask you, um, the Ravens, right,
Uh-huh.
versus the Rams. I'm not saying that the Ravens. I mean, from a defensive standpoint, the Ravens had a bad game. That's the most real thing I can say.
Yeah,
The Rams came to bring it, and they brought it. The Titans, on the other hand, if the Dolphins lose to the Titans, dude, that I don't even know what to say there.
yeah.
I don't. I don't know how much time's left on the clock. I apologize. I don't know. It's the third quarter, maybe
56
like
seconds left. It's almost
56 seconds,
yeah, almost the fourth quarter. It's fourth and six. Tennessee's on Miami's 36 right now.
and they're gonna make a field goal.
I can't see the TV right now. I think
Damn.
they're yeah. I think they're
Well, if
about a
they're on
two.
Miami's 36, they're probably gonna make a field goal then. With
Yeah,
4th and 6, that's a
yeah.
what, like a 40-something yard field goal maybe?
36, 17. That's about a 50, 53.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they got a chance to be up 13-10.
yeah, they do.
But I got it. But once again, though, I mean, damn, how many Miami Dolphins players are out though?
I
A
was just gonna say
lot.
that
There's a
Xavier Howard
lot of
got hurt early. Tyreek got hurt early. Raheem Mostert got hurt, but he came back in the game. Jalen Waller got hurt, came back in the game.
their
Their
center who's
center
damn
got
good, by
hurt.
the way.
Yeah,
He got hurt.
and there's a few more honestly. So I mean, they have lost a few pieces today. So I will give them that little bit benefit of the doubt.
And that right there is, I mean, I can understand. I mean, damn, if you had a lot of those your starters out, I
Yeah,
mean, and you don't play well, I mean, I get it. But when those guys are all healthy and they're back, you got it. I mean, the Dolphins are no joke, man.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
pretty shocking. That if
Yeah.
they lose, dude, that's nuts if they lose.
Can I ask you what's a little bit more shocking right now, Ray? The fact that it's 10-10, Titans and Dolphins, or that the Giants are beating the Packers 21-13?
The Giants are beating the Packers?
21-13
I don't
as
even
of
know
right
what to
now.
say, dude.
They're in the Sorry about that. Just ran into some technical difficulties, but that'll wrap it up. That's week 14 of NFL football. The Ravi and Ray show. We are back Monday, Fridays. That's when we do our recordings. Tuesdays, Saturdays. That's when our videos are going to be dropping. Please hit our subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that like button. It helps us out tremendously. And thank you guys for everything. And it's for the Ravi and Ray show. Until next time, peace.